What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and it's been a little while since we got to talk about the beautiful, the stunning, the brilliant Gina Carano on this channel, and I noticed she's been trending all week. So some politicians have decided to literally clout chase off of her name and demand she be put in jail. I'm not kidding. Not just jail, actually, prison. And all of this is really stemming from the Whoopi Goldberg double standard, which is fully on display for anyone on the planet who wants to talk about it or look. We can start with this article over on Bounding into Comics. Gina Carano calls for conversation over cancellation after Whoopi Goldberg was suspended from The View. A calm, a mature position to have. A lot of people would probably understand if she were to say, hey, it's kind of curious that, she didn't get fired, even though we have like the same boss. But no, she didn't. The Terror on the Prairie actress Gina Carano responded to the recent suspension of Whoopi Goldberg following her comments about the Big H on The View for calling for conversation over cancellation. Goldberg was suspended for 2 weeks by ABC President Kim Godwin, who stated effective immediately, I'm suspending Whoopi, but I don't care. The suspension came after discussion about the removal of the graphic novel Mouse from the Tennessee School District's curriculum. During the discussion, Goldberg stated, if you're going to do this, let's be truthful about the Big H. It wasn't about race. It's not about race, which she's dumb. She understands nothing about the Big H. And again, I've talked about, there are people out there that, have more nuanced takes on it that could, provide some context or some, understanding of where Whoopi was coming from. But, the issue is that wasn't like you're ascribing some deep intellectual position to someone who clearly didn't have one. We know this because she went on the Colbert Report later that very same night, and instead of apologizing, doubled down and only apologized when forced. So this was her opinion and is still her opinion, whether or not she says it out loud. Let's talk about it for what it is. It's how we treat each other, blah, 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 blah. Then she issues an apology after getting crushed by everybody in the media. Goldberg would then appear on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, where she further elaborated her thoughts. Of course, we know all the stupid, idiotic things she said. Now, sometimes people can just misspeak and people can be wrong. I understand the impotence, the inclination for wanting her fired. Eye for an eye is a normal human reaction. You could even use like rules for radicals, force them to live by their own standards. And you have a situation where by her own standards, she should be fired. Then Gina tweeted out, I want to send my blessings and love out to the Jewish community. When I was being smeared, canceled, and misunderstood, it was a Jewish man, Ben Shapiro, who reached out to me and asked if I'd like to talk about it. Maybe Whoopi could talk to Ben. Conversation over cancellation. Whoopi Goldberg will never talk to Ben Shapiro, by the way. Shapiro wrote for his part, Whoopi Goldberg explaining the Big H wasn't about race because these were two groups of white people isn't just stupid, it's insidious. It's downplaying the minority status of my people in order to uphold BS intersectional arguments that justify anti-Semitism today. Then we went on to see how Twitter shifted the narrative. Twitter falsely claims Gina Carano was fired for comments comparing the CUF restrictions to the bad guys from WW2 treatment of Jewish people. We know that wasn't true. We knew that the point she was making, while I can absolutely see where she was going, it just gave the people that wanted to. Here's the thing. It was just like with Roseanne. There was already this groundswell of people that wanted Gina gone. Just like there was already this groundswell of people that wanted Roseanne gone. This was just a position that is her statement, her position is something that I can see where she's going, but it just gave them a tool to look at what she said in the most unfavorable possible way and finally get rid of her. You know, and when you go to Twitter, of course, they spin everything. They want it all to be, you know, the narrative that they set. That isn't exactly what she said. She didn't really compare restrictions to like the literal big H. But Twitter frames it, though, as though that's what it was all about. But then we get this clown, all right? North Carolina congressional candidate says Gina Carano should be in prison. By the way, we're talking about this in my Gilded right now, which is like Discord. I'm going to do a video on Saturday showing people like how to join up if you've never done it before, if you've never been in like it's just a chat room. Think of it that way. Now you can do voice chat, you can do text chat, you can do, you know, you can play video games together, you can talk about political issues. I stop in there almost every single day, and it's getting lively. We're adding about 500 new members every day, and you can see it's cranking right along now. So if you go to my link tree in the description, if you go to the description, there's a link tree link. If you click that, there's a link to my Gilded, and you can just join. Obviously, it's free. North Carolina congressional candidate Mark Judson recently claimed that he believes the Mandalorian actress Gina Carano should be in prison. Judson took to Twitter where he responded to an article published by the Daily Wire claiming that liberal privilege is real in response to Disney's move to only suspend Whoopi Goldberg for her comments on the Big H, where they previously fired Carano for reposting an image to her Instagram stories. The North Carolina congressional candidate, Gina Carano, got fired. Good. She pushed the big lie. She should be in prison, not the movies. This is a Democrat, by the way. Prison. You know, the First Amendment is a thing. Should be a thing. This is a tweet. And if he hasn't blocked me yet, we'll take a look at some of the responses. If Republicans weren't too lazy to read, they might Google the definition of seditious conspiracy. It's time to take out the trash. Is this the attention? Like, we're going to give you some attention, political candidate and public figure. Carano isn't the only person that Judson believes should be in prison. At the end of January, he called for President Donald Trump to be in prison, on top of claims that the United States was currently in a civil war. You must watch Tim. He tweeted that MAGA keeps accusing me of wanting a civil war. Let me be clear. I don't want one. I want people to understand that we're already in one. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, it's things are so oppressive. You're tweeting all day about, you know, doing whatever you want whenever you want. Now, let's see if the tweet is still up. Okay, here's the original tweet. It currently has 50 quote tweets and 48 likes. Before I refresh it, I want to take a look at some of the early responses. First of all, wanting someone to be in prison for tweets that aren't threatening is effed up. Second, she never lied. Third, what's wrong with you? Fourth, you don't even know what you're talking about. You don't make sense. It truly concerns me that you're allowed to hold office. Blue Anon says, what? Who put 50 cents in the see you next Tuesday, we'll say. This is great, by the way. This is great. This is a guy that, you know, got like, he lost in the primary election, but he still got a decent amount of votes. That's the concern. Now they lost, the Republicans won his state, but so when do we start arresting people who push the Russia stories? Homie, you need to go outside and touch some grass. I mean, what? Guess who's not for Congress anymore? Let's see if I've been blocked. All I did was tweet, here's the attention you ordered. Let's see. I'm blocked. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. That's why I'm glad I looked first. And of course, like, you know, all of these replies are just dunking on this idiot. I don't see a single person coming close to agreeing with them. They're just getting clowned on. This is what I'm talking about with the tide kind of changing. You know, I'm not saying that like rational thought is winning the war, but it's certainly taking more battles than it used to, which is why I'm so allergic to these like black-pilled idiots that don't want to talk to anybody. You could see here's somebody who's running for Congress getting absolutely dunked on. Not a single person replying. This is somebody who had the second most votes in his party. You just love to see it. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.